Okay. Let's see. Am I coming in clear? Um, it's gonna bring. All right, peace, 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 everybody. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, peace, peace, everyone. Peace, peace. What's good? What's up with you? This is well, this is Brother Leaux. Know what I'm talking about? Um, how y'all doing? All right, peace, peace, peace. Okay. Am I coming in clear? Peace, Sister Cassia. What's up with you? Um, hey, how y'all doing? All right, all right. Well, um, here's the moment y'all been waiting for. We gonna talk about Underworld, and I just got through watching the movie, and like I said, Underworld was created by. Thank you, thank you. Well, as I was saying, the movie was created by Kevin Graveau. He's a melanin dominant man. He's also the creator of Blue Marvel, a comic book hero from Marvel Comics. But yeah, he created Underworld, and basically, in my opinion, um, the meanings behind it is very interesting. As we were talking about yesterday about lichens and vampires, I said, the vampire is a grafted man, whereas the werewolf or the lichen, is a man of nature, and he strives to be in tune with nature. And here you have Underworld, and it's not like that at all. You don't see it like the setting of Underworld from the beginning. You can tell it's Eastern Europe. You can tell by the buildings. It just looks pre or post World War II. And what's up? What's up, Baba Randy? And it's pre World War II. And at the beginning, you have Celine K. Beckinsale's character talking about, being a death dealer, and she's basically on her watch, um, just looking around, being this so-called like knighted individual, or assassin, and she sees this human being stalked by two other looking like humans, and lo and behold, she comes to find out that these two humans, which one is actually Kevin Graveau. What is actually Kevin Graveau. You instantly see him in the movie. And they're stalking this human, and they instantly, get into a shootout in the subway. And notice how in the movie, at least to me, you have a basically an old technology with new technology feel, whereas if you look at the subway and the train, it's very old. It looked like the train looks like something out of 1950. And so, like I said, they go through the shootout, and you see one turn into a lichen, and the guy they're going for is they miss him. And so here you have, this age-old battle, apparently this century-old war between lichens and werewolves. And it's in this movie, it's interesting to the sense that, to me, it's not more of a sense of, it's more of a political symbolism in retrospect, where you have the vampires who are very conservative and the lichens who are more liberal and revolutionary. And one thing that stood out to me, at least looking at from the vampire aspect, is very Eastern European. Very Eastern European, even to where they dress. At first I was like, oh, Gothic, well, it makes sense. Yeah, when you think of vampires, you literally think of Gothic wear, but their wear was very interesting because if you look at their suits and their fashion, it was in Russian patterns, if you ask me. It was in Russian patterns. Like I was looking at one guy's suit, and the way his suit was breasted, it looked like a Cossack uniform, but in a suit. You know what I'm saying? And where's Chris? I don't know where Chris is. but yeah, you see like the regalness of their wear reminded me of old style Royal Russia. If you ever seen like a Russian television show, dealing with, like old Russia when they had like princes or anything like that, you would see them have these interesting design patterns in their dress. And you see that in Underworld. And then going to the movie, Kate Beckinsale stumbles on these rounds. Now, to me, the movie was crazy because here you have this this woman busting off these guns and these boots that look like they'll break your ankle, but and she's not liberous in these guns, but she stumbles on these rounds, these ultraviolet rounds that the lichens have, and she goes to basically their gunsmith, who is a melanated man by the name of Khan, and he's like, man, this looks like something that they didn't make. It looks like something military issue. Now, if you go throughout the series, you figure out, how they got those rounds and who created them. But we just dealing with movie one. So, she's on this fact-finding mission to find out, the lichens are doing something. They're plotting something. And they're after this human, but they don't, but she don't know what. But like the leader of their coven is named Craven. Now, if you know the definition for Craven, even though they spell it with a K, still Craven, But and he doesn't take the threat seriously, whereas Celine does, And so, she's investigating this, and you see a scene where the lichens, are underground, and they're fighting off. They're doing some real Fight Club type mess, right? And then the leader comes in, right, and he says, what are y'all doing? Y'all not acting like, y'all acting like wild dogs, and he calls them gentlemen, like we're civilized, And if you ever watch a lot of vampire and werewolf movies, you will see that, the werewolves are always depicted as wild savages, not refined. Whereas the vampires are always seen as these gothic, old, civil beings, know what I'm saying? It's very, every movie just seems tailored toward, vampire positivity. But, here you have they're depicted like savages, and here you have a leader who's like, we're not gonna be that. We're not savages, we're better than that. And you find out that the head Lycan, whose name is Lucian, he goes and talks to Reyes, who came back, got the what's disc in his in his chest, homie just rock solid. He don't he don't care, like he don't feel it, and you see that they go into this like slum looking lab, and they got a guy tied up there, and they're doing an experiment on his blood. And as the scientist is doing an experiment, he says negative. Obviously they're looking for something, right? So Lucian questions Reyes, and it's like, did they know that you was following a human? Like, no. It's like, do you not think, or are you not sure? He was like, I'm not sure. He was like, must I do everything myself? It's very crazy in that aspect where you always got this one person like, I'm to quote all dogs go to heaven, morons, I'm surrounded by morons, I gotta do everything myself. So yes, I'm just breaking down one of the Underworld movies. I would have to rewatch all the movies just to do the whole series. And me personally, I pretty much quit. Well, I stopped pretty much after Underworld, the one that's called Underworld, Baba Randy. The first one. So while they're on a mission to track down who you find out is called Michael Corbin. They're both looking, Kay Beckinsale is looking for him. Lucian is looking for him. And, ultimately he gets into Kay Beckinsale's hands. And this is before, no one really knows why the Lycans are after him. And so, like I said, it seems like you have a very political agenda and also hierarchy, because here you have Craven, who's like the lead vampire in a sense, but he likes Celine, right? In the movie, he tried to get at Celine, but Celine ain't going. She just ain't going for it, right? And there's another girl that likes him, but he's not checking for her neither. But as as she meets Michael and whatnot, he's he ultimately they find out like he's an intern. He's an intern for a hospital. Basically, he's probably an intern going for his doctorates. But it was interesting to find out if as they look at try to look at this place, basically he has a book of sociology. It's very interesting in this movie that you find a lot of old bound books, like they've been there since 1641, whatever. But that was one thing that stood out for me. You see that Um, you see that in this movie. There's a lot of old bound books. A lot of, well, you could say that's the symbolism of stale information. You know, all these old books that don't mean nothing. You know, the vampires had this. You know what I'm saying? They had all these old books, and that was very interesting to me. And then so going on through the movie, because it sort of made sense, and at times it didn't make sense. Um, Michael goes to the hospital, doing what he do as an intern, and then he gets bitten by Lucian. But then he gets retaken by Celine, and she takes him back to the vampire stronghold, and no one knows that he's turned. Well, he got bit by a lichen yet, but as Lucian is going back to his own base, because he bit him, he actually took some of Michael's blood and gives it back to the scientist, and then the scientist finds out that he is a carrier. See, in this movie, vampires and lichens are basically considered to be both like viruses. You know what I'm saying? They both have different strains. I find it interesting that unlike a lot of vampire like and werewolf movies, here's the only movie that you hear the word coven interchangeable. That was very interesting to see. The word coven was interchangeable. You never heard a lichen call his group the Pack like you would in any other werewolf movie. Here, it's the Coven. You know what I'm saying? Usually that's for vampires. You never say that for lichens, but in this movie you do. But like I say, they treat both species like a virus strain. And like I said, Michael's blood proves that he is a positive carrier of what we do not know yet. But in the movie, they do a lot of trying to fact find, and Celine, is on some like conspiracy type thing, whereas she's like, okay, something's going on, and they're after this dang on human. And I saw Lucian. Lucian's supposed to be dead. You know what I'm saying? And she questions Craven, and because he don't believe it. Like, man, we hunted, werewolves to the brink of extinction. And she was like, there's a bunch of them down there. Y'all need to find out what is going on. And Craven just brushes it off. But, she keeps on digging. And like I say, she goes into the basically the archives, the vampire archives. It's old and it's stale. They have this relic of their history, and it's not well put together. You know what I'm saying? And then later in the movie, you find out that in their culture, in vampire culture, searching through history is forbidden. That stood out to me a lot. You know what I'm talking about? That really stood out to me a lot, because it was sort of like 1984. You know what I'm saying? Where you have history, or the research of history being forbidden. You know what I'm talking about? It just didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I was like, 1984. That's why I say this movie was more political than it was in the mythic realm of vampires' life. It was like political factions. You have one political faction that was like more of a Eastern Bloc, that banned the research of history, and everything is very conservative and whatnot, where you have one that was liberal and revolutionary. because even the searching of Michael for the lichens, that's a revolutionary act. And not only that, it's also a the act of a thief. You know, here you have the lichens saying, "Why can't we do this?" They really like, why can't we do this? Why can't we not do this? We gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And Celine talks to Michael, and trying to figure out a bunch of things, and I mean, it gets them nowhere because he don't even know why they're after him. So as we go on with the movie, Celine does something that is sort of forbidden, because all of a sudden one of the girls that is looking at Michael as he's sleeping or whatever, because he's basically going through the change of becoming a lichen. She looks at his bite mark, and it sends her literally up the cell as she shows her fangs at him, and then he, ups and leaves the mansion because he's scared. And, one thing that girl tells Celine is, remember the covenant, what's forbidden. I found that interesting that she said that, because, covenant is an oath, it's a promise or whatever. And she goes after Celine goes after looking for Michael, but he goes to the hospital where his friend is, and all the while there's these two cops looking for him. So his friend rats him out, because he's like, man, this man, he bit me. He's like, man, you look like you got bitten by a dog. Like, I assure you it was a man. But his man rats him out while in the hospital, and these two cops are looking for him. And they snatch him. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there is a firefight that does ensue, but they still get him. And so Celine is like, no one's believing me, but there's only one, because she always mentions this one, Victor will believe me. And we see that Victor, or Viktor, is considered one of the oldest and strongest of the vampires. Now, if you ask me, he's not. If you really know the series, Victor ain't the oldest, but she does. Well, I'm gonna read what she say. It was a battle of the churches. They were all cousins by blood. Convent, covenant, all this are the same. It denotes a monastery spiritual community. Vampires like Catholics, and lycanthropes like spiritualists. Yes, Chief. I was getting to that, but you're sort of ahead of me. But yeah, I was getting to that. But that's what they say in the movie, that he, at least for Celine, because she don't know, Victor is the oldest and strongest of us, of them. But like Chief said, it denotes a monastery and spiritual community, and you can see that in basically, if you look at like how the low-ranking vampires dress, they dress like they're in these friar, I want to say friar tuck looking, monk, Franciscan monk, old style Franciscan monk uniforms, but in leather, right? But in leather. But the collar goes all the way up to the neck or whatever, and it's all brown, and but you do see that, and that did stand out to me. It's like, why do you look like something out of a church? But at the same time, it seems more political at the same time. That's why it was very interesting to me. And so you have that aspect. You know, one has the spiritual aspect. The other is like the church, where, or the inquisition of the church. You know what I'm saying? Where they will slam down on any type of heresy. You know what I'm talking about? They will slam down on any type of heresy and abomination that they see fit. You know, sort of like historically how you know, the Catholic church has been. But yes. So yeah, you have that. Okay. I had to read that. And okay. So what she does is, okay, there's a scene where she takes a shower, and she spells out the name Victor in the mirror, and then, you know, wipes the mirror. To me, that was like a ritual, you know, a ritual to call, you know, someone, I guess you could say from the earthly realm, from the spiritual realm. Because if you look at, and then she goes down into the tomb where Victor is kept. And if you look at the tomb, you know, it's marble, but there's 3 holes, which for me symbolized a triumvirate of power. You know, like the Romans had at one time. You know, there was, you know, what, Marcus Gracius, Julius Caesar, and someone else, but I forget. But they was called the triumvirate. And you know, she opens Victor's tomb and gives up her blood to him, because for vampires, you know, usually it's always an elder that perform these rites, you know, and through giving Victor her blood, she wants him to see her memories of what's happening, because she's scared that, you know, they're being betrayed and they're going to get ambushed if he doesn't wake up, because Victor's not supposed to wake up, you know. But them, their triumvirate of power works like one person rules while the other 2 sleep. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, G, because I showed up forgot. Well, the actual real triumvirate was Pompey, Julius Caesar, and Marcus Crassus. I just forgot Pompey, and don't you know? And yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. There were other triumvirates after that, but that was the one that stood out for me, or the one I remember. But yeah, but as I was saying, there's always one rules while the other 2 sleep, and so basically, she's breaking a law by waking up Victor. And so as she gives up her blood to so she can see her memories, you know, Victor opens his eyes and whatnot, but she doesn't know, you know, because she's busy doing all this stuff. And then Craven was like, man, you know, Craven's always on some real simp shit, you know. But I'm just gonna be honest. He's always on some simping stuff. And he's like, do you not listen to me? You know, I got plans for us. And she's like, there is no us. You know, this dude got delusions and grandeurs like, this is my woman. And it's like, no, you know, just no. And you know, she was like, well, now that Victor's awake, you know, he'll be the judge of everything, because you just letting everything go to mess. You know, because you got this weak guy that doesn't basically handle things, you know, to where, you know, makes everything in the coven weak. So now she has to, you know, arise Victor, one of the elders, to set everything back in order or whatever. And so, Victor comes alive and he's like, what is going on? But I see that this, and Craven, it's like, my lord, and Victor's like, what's going on, servant? Very like I say, very, very like I said, very Eastern European, like, what's up, serf? But Craven's giving an explanation, and one thing he says that's interesting when he's talking about Celine's memory is that her memories are very chaotic, as if they do not understand the meaning of time. That was very interesting to hear. That here you have a female or a woman, whose memory is so chaotic, she doesn't understand the meaning of time. Like, I guess you could say us as guys, we understand the meaning of time, whereas probably the feminine aspect doesn't understand that. They don't have a concept of time or timing, because maybe in the feminine world, or maybe in the feminine world, there is no concept of time. Here in the masculine world, there is a concept of time. So that was very interesting. Very interesting to hear. And so he says, bring me Celine, and me and her has to talk. So, basically, Celine is brought before, Victor, and, they talk, and she's trying to plead the case that, that there's, there's a conspiracy, the Lycans are on the move, they're going to do this. But Victor's like, man, well, you don't have no proof. You know what I'm saying? But are my memories proof enough? He's like, no, and even if, even though, she wakens him to stop something from happening, she still breaks the law. And even Victor says it, you still, this is not my time. It's Marcus' time to rule. You know what I'm saying? Not me, but you wake me up. You know what I'm saying? Which, if you will, the three elders for the vampires are Amelia, Marcus, and Victor. Amelia's, alive, walking about, but she's about to hand over the reins of eldership to Marcus. But because the Lycans are planning something, and Craven is essentially, he's in on it. You're just gonna cut that shit. He's in on it. And as Celine has these questions. He's like, we have this, there's this a branding skin of Lucian that the vampires kept in this book. And what was interesting about that, well, the letter V and the Roman numerals, at least from what I saw, it looked like it said 7. That was interesting. But Celine questions that, no one knows if Craven really killed Victor, killed Lucian, because that's the lore. Lucian was killed by Craven, and all that's proof is, the skin of his brand, because Lucian was a slave. And okay, if you've seen Rise of the Lycans, you realize that he was a slave of Victor's. But yeah, so as once again, Celine is basically going through this fact-finding mission, and she she finds the scientists because they have a shootout. She finds the scientists and brings them back to Victor. And so the scientists, the lichen scientists, is basically, can't hold water, and instantly just tells it all. It's like for years we have been trying to mix both bloodlines. But then he says, it seems like, our species was destined to become enemies even on a cellular level, which is very interesting. You find the lichens are eugenicists in this movie. You find that they are eugenicists because, and I find that I guess the topic of miscegenation in this retrospect was interesting because it sort of reminds you of something. Reminds you of something, huh? Interesting. But yeah. So he goes on and talks about the history of both species, and he talks about a man that survived a plague, and his name was Alexander Corvinus. And he said he was a Hungarian warlord in the 5th century. Now, because I'm Leaux the scholar. If you know anything about the 5th century, there was no Hungary, but the person that was very big in the 4th century around that area was Attila the Hun, and the Huns, which Hungary gets its name from, the Huns, or if you go back, they're known as the Xiongnu or Xiongnu, from Asia, what I'm talking about. But yeah, he's a warlord from the 5th century, and he survives a plague, and then he says that he has at least 2 sons, and I had to rewind back and forth just to hear what, because when Victor talks, he said, yes, the famous sons of Corvinus, one bitten by a bat, the other by a wolf, and one destined to walk the lonely world of being a human. And he said, well, we couldn't basically mix both gene pools together just as they are. We needed a pure source. And so the human strain that was able to that was a direct descendant of Alexander Corvinus, and if you pay attention to like the wall that the scientist was always going back to, one name that stood out to me was Kerwin. I was like, oh, sounds like a German name, but then you see Corvinus, Corvin, you realize that they're connecting dots to see who's a direct descendant of Alexander Corvinus. And then they say, well, that pure strain, it goes all the way to Michael Corbin, and if you mix basically both bloodlines together, you get half werewolf, half vampire, and the scientists just smiling at it. And then Victor's like, abomination. Already, there, as you can see, like I say, we've been here before. We've been here before. But he says abomination, and so, Celine finds her approved, but at the same time, she's still going to be tried by by the council and the elders, which is sort of very, like I say, it's very political in the sense, or you could say very, I guess, church-like in the sense in that time, or medieval church-like. Yeah. She said one has a virus and the other is a warm-blooded natural creature. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, is there a connection between Corbin and Cohen? I can't say, because when I think of Cohen, I think of another ethnicity altogether. I don't think of Corbin. Because when I think of Corvin, I think of Corvinus, Latin, something, along those lines. When I think of Cohen, I think of something of a Semitic ethnicity. So I can't say that, Brother Cruz. I can't say if that's a connection or not. Brother Anwar says the core/man, the original Michael the Archangel, core man. Am I onto core man? But it's the thing is, it's Corbin. Corbin. Yeah, see that. Thank you, G. But so uh, Victor kills the scientists. He's expendable. But going back to the gunsmith Khan, he gives Celine silver nitrate rounds. Basically, what he does is he copies the rounds that the Lycans had with ultraviolet light, and he gives silver nitrate rounds. Because werewolves are allergic to silver, but the difference is with these rounds is a lichen can push them out, because they're solid, can push out, as I say, AG rounds and still live. Like if you see, like in the beginning of the movie, Ray's brings back body of a dead lichen, and you hear the scientist say, his, the body, the AG rounds pierced his lungs, so regeneration process is impossible. You know what I'm saying? But here you have these silver nitrate rounds where they go directly into the bloodstream of a lichen if he's if he gets shot with one. So Chief said they changed the name of the Hungary to cover up what they did to your people there. Yeah. Yeah. Because like as Chief said, that thought really did go through my mind as I thought of the Moors and Europeans. I thought of the Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, and because in this movie you have melanated wolves. It was very interesting because usually, when you see werewolves, they look like actual wolves. But here you have wolves, but when they change, they are completely melanated. They are completely melanated, which was very interesting. And message, message, man, message. Even if they were white, they're turned into melanated lichens. So so they're looking for Michael because Victor tasked Celine with killing, this Corvinus abomination, but already Celine is catching feelings for Michael. They have a little kiss, which the relationship don't even look like it was anything, but that's besides the point. But so we have that, and so the Lycans have Michael. Meanwhile, the Lycans are pulling off an ambush on Amelia. Amelia's, I want to say caravan, but it's not a caravan, but Amelia and the council, they are coming, to basically do an exchange of power, so to speak, which basically you could say is a ritual. But like I say, you see a lot of old tech, and if you look at the train, it's a steam engine train. You know what I'm talking about? So it was very old, very old. But her train gets hit, and Rage takes her blood, because Khan, the gunsmith, he's tasked, him and his crew, they're tasked with protecting Amelia. But what I'm talking about, Corbin says, "Oh, that's not your job. That's going to be Soren's job." And Soren, he's in line with Craven. They, Amelia's crew, or coven, get set up for the Jux, get that ambush, and Amelia's dead. So as Ray, so Craven can't go back to the coven, and he goes to Lucian like, "Bro, we had a deal or whatever, woo 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 woo. What is going on? Don't worry, bro. You gonna get, Lucian like, you gonna get everything you want. We already done laid low the million. You gonna have everything you want." You know what I'm saying? But you later come to find out that Craven and Lucian are cousins, apparently. And wow, Lucian is waiting on Race to bring back a pure, the blood of a pure elder to put into Michael. The vampires are ambushing. Victor and Celine and them. They're ambushing. Where the Lycan lair, and then Craven double crosses Lucian. And shoots him with silver nitrate rounds. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Chief says on the melanin key, Corvinus means raven or black. Remember how Michael Corbin looked when he turned? Yes. yes. That is true. I do know that. Because Corvinus is Latin, and I know that. But yeah. So because we can get into the end, and as this fight ensues, Michael is reliving Lucian's memories, and he sees that basically what started the war wasn't as what the vampires say it is. Michael finds out that Lucian was in love with a vampire woman, and who was Victor's daughter. Victor didn't like it. He killed his daughter, and he killed her by sunlight. Reminded me of Interview with a Vampire. Don't have, if you ever seen that movie. But yeah, kills her by sunlight, and made Lucian watch. And They are all cousins because because they are either children of William the Wolf and Marcus the Vampire, who were brothers. Yeah, yeah, yes, that is true. Yes, that is very true. Thanks, Chief. But yeah, like you see that Lucian doesn't have no ill will towards the vampires, but he wants this shit to end. And I guess for the Lycans, the best way this can end is if there's a mixture between both bloodlines. That's what I say. That's the revolutionary act. But so like I say, ensues. Firefight ensues, and Celine gets Michael. Um, Michael tells Celine, what all happens, and what he's seen. But then as they run through, the Lycan there, they find Craven, and he shoots Michael with, silver nitrate rounds. But I would like to say one thing that was interesting as well is when after Craven shoots Lucian says, you haven't stopped my will or something like that. It was very biblical, and it reminded me of what Chief said about the Lycan being basically the coming of John the Baptist, because that's why I saw that scene as, what I'm saying, as like John the Baptist getting killed, but he's clearing the way for the Christ. You know what I'm saying? Which you could probably say is Michael Corbin, but he's clearing that way, and that's basically what Lucian is doing. In that retrospect, he is John the Baptist with his liberal and revolutionary ideas. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really he's not the leader, but he's the guide to the leader, like in Dune. Like in Dune, Liette would say, I'm not the leader, I'm the guide to the leader. You know what I'm saying? He's waiting on the Mahdi. He's waiting on the Kwisatz Haderach. You know what I'm saying? But he's not the leader of the, of the movement. But he's the guide to the leader. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody we know. Who that Jack today? What's his name, Brother Zach? Chief, you, something like that, But anyway, so yeah, he says, you may have killed me, cousin, but you would never, but my will has never been done. But my will has been done regardless. Yes, that is true. That is true. He does say that. I just can't remember it, but I thought it was very, very significant. Something like that. But whatever his name is. But yeah. So Ray see Lucian, basically believe dead. Ray's got the blood, but nobody uses it. And he goes berserk. One thing that interested me when you see Ray's, is Lycan, and he fights Soren, and Soren has these whips on around his shoulders, and he takes them off, and he's whipping, Ray's with him. Ray's changes, and what I thought about was, the whip represents the law, and he has two whips. You know what I'm saying? So he's double whipping with, both hands of the law. Which message? You got a black man being whipped with both hands of the law. You see what I'm? Boy, that was subliminal. Man, y'all just don't know. So let that be a lesson to you. You're getting whipped with both hands of the law, but yet, one of the whips get stuck in basically on the concrete, and Ray's kills him. But But that was symbolic meaning for me. I saw the symbolism in that. You know what I'm talking about? And but as Michael is basically dying, we find out, Lucian is still alive in a sense. And he tells Selena to bite him. So she bites him. And it's just very simple like that. She bites him, and Victor is just cleaning house. And he meets them, and he throws, Michael through a wall. And he's talking to Celine. He's like, "I'm sorry, my child." And then Celine's like, "It was you. You killed my family." Because Celine had always thought that the Lycans did it, because that's what she'd been told. But it wasn't the Lycans. It was Victor himself. It's sort of like propaganda in a sense, where someone tells you this is what really happened, but you don't really know what happened. You know what I'm saying? You just going off somebody else's story, and then come to find out it was your savior that really did all those horrible things to you. You know what I'm talking about? And this is what you see with Celine and Victor. And he go, and she was like, you did the same thing to your daughter, your own flesh and blood. And he was like, "Man, I love my daughter, but the abomination growing in her womb, that was a no-go." Which reminds you of certain things that you see, even in this society, where the dominant society is not going to let that, that abomination grow. But I mean, it is what it is. That's not what this is about. So, it was like the Hegelian dialect. Yes, sir, Chief. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Michael changes, and Michael, his eyes are black, and his body is fully melanated. He's black. And he fights Victor. Yes, Sheriff John Brown, let that be a lesson. Deal with him wisely, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you see. Basically, every movie that Chief has brought down, that's what I've thought about. Because in my ear, I can hear Chief say, kill them before they grow, and let us do wisely with them. What you see that. So anyway, Victor and Michael fighting. And basically, Michael ain't with it, man. He just, Victor brings out this sword, and this like sword of Excalibur type thing. Yeah. Michael, even though he's changed, and he's supposed to be the greater of both sides, he gets his ass whooped by Victor. If you ask me, he loses, and it takes Celine to kill Victor. She slices his head with his own sword. Slices his head off with his own sword. And she takes the basically the necklace, or the necklace that Lucian was wearing. She takes that, and she carries it, which basically to me is a symbolism of she's taking up the mantle of Lucian's message. She said, she said, because Michael won't kill for power, he's drinking blood out of sipping cups. Synthetic blood at that. Okay, in the movie, the vampires also they create synthetic blood, which is clone blood. They have a company that does that. which which like I say was the reason why you have two ideologies of eugenics. You have one that does the synthetic blood or whatever, where it's different. But yeah, you had that. But yeah, look, he sipping blood out of a because he ain't coming with that stripe. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't on that. He ain't about that life. At least not yet. So end of the movie. In the movie, Celine does a little monologue, but she knows that the blood of the scientists is dripping down on basically the tomb of Marcus. And at the end of the movie, you see Marcus come alive, and then the movie's over. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, it was an interesting movie. Take it for what it's worth. But yeah, man. I mean, that's my that's my dang on review of it. Me grasping at straws, but me going along for the ride. Shoot, I thank all y'all for going on the ride with me. You know what I'm talking about, and even with everything going on, I appreciate it. Shoot, look, is there any questions? You know how we do. Like, is there any questions? You probably gonna ask a bunch. Me, I don't mind anything like that. But if there are any questions before we shut down or whatever, let me know, and I answer as best as I can. You know what I'm saying? Oh, for sure, brother Randy. You know how we do. I was called. Which was an honor, man, because usually it's like I can't wait for the chief to do. How do you see the underworld as a representation of your inner self? I see underworld as a representation of my inner self, probably as a fight, probably between like maybe my ego and my spiritual conscious. Whereas probably my spiritual conscious, that it's the liking that the natural aspect of me, and my ego is the grafted part of me and the vying for power. Where my ego will probably want things to stay there, or stay into your basically addictions or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Or stay in the lower realms. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to rise above, to the higher nature or higher consciousness. Whereas, my spiritual conscious will want that. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think they call them lichen? Well, they call them lichens. Well, lichen, because lycanthropy was created. Don't quote me, but it was created by I can't remember. I'll be the first one to tell you I can't remember, but I do. That goes with the myth, because lycanthropy, at least if you look at the word, even lycanthropy cannot just mean just werewolves. Because if you go through, like, Chief would probably know because he's older than me, but if you go through Dungeons and Dragons, lycanthropy can mean like wereboars, any animal that can turn from any humanoid animal. That was a lycanthrope. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you get the word from. That's why they call them lichens, because it goes through the it's the root word of lycanthrope or lycanthropy. They want me to just see part two. I don't know how many movies is it. There's I think 4 or 5 movies. Is it really that serious? I mean, I think the next in the series would be Rise of the Lycans, and then what? Underworld Evolution, I think. Yeah, Lycan means wolf. Lycanthrope is the ability to change from human to beast form. Thanks, Chief, because I really did not know. But I did not know the meaning of the root word. Give thanks. So yeah. um, what else? Oh, Rise was part 4. Thank you. See, they got progressively worse after Rise. Thank you. Because after, like, I was there for Rise of the Lycans, but after like everything else was like, so it was lame. It got lame. It got lame as hell. It wasn't. I put it like this: it wasn't as lame as Twilight, the Twilight series, but it was like, you dealing with the early 2000s and whatnot. I was like, oh, here we go with this. I quit watching that stuff. I started to, by that time I was like, man, I'm gonna go to kung fu and international movies. That's what I was on. Okay, Okay, she said, and anthropo, human, lycos, wolf. That's how they put the Greek words together. Yes, sir. So as you can see, anthropo, lycos, and which, if you look at the word and anthropo, you can go farther with it, with other words. Thanks for the etymology. I don't have my dictionary yet. I don't have my dictionary yet, but yeah. So okay, how do you connect the silver idea with the moon transformation? Lycans don't need the moon to transform. How do you see that? Okay. Silver. Well, I would connect the silver idea with the moon transformation as basically as I would with a sun transformation and gold. That's what popped into my head. Whereas, and the mineral gold. So with silver, like I say, they didn't need the moon to transform. But at the same time, in the movie, Lucian was waiting on Michael to transform during the full moon. But like I said, Lycans don't need, the moon to transform. But maybe for the first transformation, it's needed for that first transformation. And then after all of that, the moon has no effect. Maybe that first full moon is needed. But the silver idea, you see that, apparently, werewolves are allergic to silver, and there's always this silver aspect as their weakness, So I really can't say Brother Cruz, you are going. Okay, well, I never gave much thought to um that would have to be a whole nother breakdown, because I never gave much thought to, like, I have to rewatch Rise of the Lycans and then understand that aspect of it, just to say, just to answer your question, Brother Cruz. Like, for real. Because I'm just not thinking about, like, yeah, what does that, I just watched one movie. I didn't watch all the movies. Not in one day. Okay, silver connects to emotions. Chief said, silver connects to emotions. You shoot them with silver, they could still live. They only would die if their spines were separated from their bodies. Silver they could extract. They were not werewolves, right? Which um, they were stronger and more intelligent than ones that were stuck in wolf form. Which, yeah, like, one thing I remember about Rise of the Lycans and that in introspect, they put very emphasis on Lucian, because you shoot a werewolf once with silver, and and it it does, especially if you shoot them in the head. Oh, and it dies, especially if you shoot them in the head. But yes, sir. Give thanks. But but in Rise of the Lycans, like, they give emphasis on Lucian because he was different, because he was able to change. He was the first one to change um, to a human. No other Lycan could do that. So here you have a like, the first one to basically get a hold of his emotions enough to calm himself to change into human and Lycan form, and then afterwards all other Lycans can do that after him, which you can basically say is sort of messianic in a way. You know what I'm talking about? He's like the first teacher. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if strength is silver, but if silver strengthens one's or what's the connect? Oh, what's up, Vermont? um, is it? I mean, oh, no problem, brother Kevin. Give thanks. Yeah, he was the first born like it, not changed. Yeah, he was the first born like it. Yeah, that's true. Well, when you speak of controlling emotions, would you compare that to the Lycans standing upright, whereas werewolves tend to walk on all fours? Yeah, yeah, I would, because Lycans can stand, even if you could say they stood on um, hind legs. You can say they were no longer in the basically in the animal realm of you know of savagery, whereas those on all fours, you know they didn't have the, I guess you could say, the knowing of self. Whereas the Lycans had knowing of self, therefore they were able to walk on hind legs, and they were able to stand, I guess you could say, perpendicular to the square, and stand on that truth, of who they were. Because sometimes, like, Lucian would say, "We are Lycans," you know what I'm saying? We are this, and find pride in that. Whereas, the vampires would try to dumb that down. You're Lycans, you're our servants or whatever. You do what we say do. Message. Think about it. You do what we say do. There's no pride in being alike, and whereas you have this guy that says there's pride in being who we are. We are Lycans. Them motherfuckers, they can't. They can't they can't survive the day. They can't see sunlight again. We can live in the sun. We can be in the dark. We can be in the light. They can only stay in the darkness. You know what I'm talking about? They can only stay in the darkness, and they need us. We don't need them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would definitely say, that Lycans standing upright have more control over emotions, have more sense of self than those that walk that were on all fours, because they, like I said, they had a knowledge. If you ask me, they had a knowledge of self. Silver seduced the animal nature, werewolf, were man, wolf. Lycanthrope, wolf, man. Both wolf, man. So the struggle was to control the animal nature. Yes, Chief, I agree. I agree. It was control the animal nature. If you can do that, basically, it's another way of doing wisely with them. Which, like if you watch Rise of the Lycans, that's what was done. Vamps had no animal human nature. They were cold. They were like spirit, and wolves were like animal nature. Michael was the hybrid, spirit and man. Yeah. Chief go get it. Just gave it deeper. Yes. All fours cover more terrain and are faster, and probably you would probably say more communal cohesive, because if if you think about an actual pack, you have to pick up, if you're hunting, if you're fighting, you have to pick up the signs, to go which way, what I'm saying, so you don't miss the target, what I'm saying. So I would say, yeah, there's just give and take on any sides, but you don't see that with, I guess, at least in this movie, we don't see that team cohesion with Lycans. You know what I'm talking about? But I mean, it is what it is. Along with fire. Interesting, Brother Anwar. Give thanks, Sister Kasi. I appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, but I don't know. I guess that's it. It's already been broken down. I want to give thanks to the Anu community, the Anu nation. This is my first time doing this live. But I give thanks. It was really probably what I needed. Take my mind off things or anything like that. And so I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all. I give thanks to Chief for vampires use law for cohesion, law and tradition. Lycans were bonded by a cause and mission. That I agree, because that's what it seemed like in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, the vampires, the whip was always significant in this movie, and like I say, whip is the law. It was always whipping the Lycans. It was always whipping the Lycans. And then you had, the Lycans that were, bonded by, like I said, cause and cohesion, and a mission, what I'm saying? So, peace, Navia. Thank you. We give thanks. But yeah, yeah, peace. Give thanks, Brother Burma. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I give thanks to Chief. It was an honor, hosting this live stream and whatnot, and I appreciate it, because I know, some people want these things. Some people want to know, so it ain't always. Oh, I told you. You were deceptive better than me. I would have attached onto the uniform of the vampires. I just thought it was sexy BSM. Chief, I didn't want, I try to be good. I thought the same thing. I thought, because you got the latex and everything, and I didn't want. But then you make those connotations. You be like, how you know that? Like you don't need to know. Don't worry about how I know. I'm learning or somewhat, whatever. But people. But yeah, I saw that too. But I didn't want to say anything. I saw that too. I saw all the latex and whips and the androgynous, like the coven was androgynous, like those places speak. But like I said, they did come. How you? So yeah, but yeah, you. We ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah. I was there. I was there. I saw that. But one thing that was interesting, at least with the Lightning, you didn't see no women. Just all guys. But yeah, that. Yeah, it showed that they were obsessed with the carnal pleasures and luxuriating. I would use that as a reference for you too, Baba MGs. Yes, sir. I thought that too. Because look at them, they were so pompous. You know what I'm talking about? They were just over just oversaturated with it. Rich, drinking wine, and like they were so posh. You know what I'm talking about? It was just it's like, man, it was too much. Whereas the Lycans, they were gritty. You know what I'm saying? They would anywhere where you go see, Lycans are more like down to earth. They gritty. They bike, dressing like bikers or some stuff like that. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. So yeah, but shoot. Yeah. But shoot. An hour and 22 minutes? Shoot. I think I did good. It's that out of 45, But I'm glad I was able to break it down and help out, be part of the work, part of the communal work. It was it's very humbling and fun and good, man. I get to use some of my strengths, so I'm glad. But I want to give thanks to y'all and see y'all on the Sabbath call tomorrow. Series. You want me to sit through? Oh no, God. See, I can sort of understand why Chief sometimes want to be like, like I remember him saying, some people want you to talk about this, but you really want to talk about this. Like for me, it was like, man, I'd rather talk about Deep Space Nine or something. Can we talk about something else? But this, I mean, I can watch them. I mean, I don't have no problem with it, but like I say, what's Rise on Lycans? I was like, okay, I'm done. You look, if look, I would gladly do I'll do it. I would do it. Look, it's gonna be pulling teeth, but I'll do it for y'all. I would do it for y'all. Anybody else says, like, I ain't doing that. But for y'all, I will break down what's the next movie. Whatever movie comes, I think that's Evolution. So I would do series. Okay, somebody got to do it, and I'll do it. Okay, Cruz. Do you see the connection of Michael the Hybrid and Michael the Archangel? Can't say that. I can't say that. I really can't, just for the simple fact that I think of Michael. I think of, I don't know, angelic, fiery sword, you know, real, honestly, real little goon type. You know what I'm talking about? He like Omar. You know what I'm talking about? He's just like that. But yeah, I don't, nah, I don't see. Oh, Deep Space Nine, like, bruh, I am just getting into Deep Space Nine, but I like it already. I'm not, like I tell people, I'm not a Trekkie. I'm like, Chief's the Trekkie. I'm not the Trekkie. But yeah, man, yeah, I am liking it. Like that first episode, man, that dropped so many dang on gems. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, that first episode, first season, dropped the gem. And shoot, Cisco was just, shaft the captain, but shoot, he more better, he more finesse. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, if it were up to me, I'd be doing right now. So, gee, you know that? Oh man, I love Porky's. But that's the kitty aspect of me. Oh, and Pippin, Pippin Pee Wee, bruh. See, we can be talking. Look, I like Pork. I thought Porky's was the funniest movie I ever seen. One time, man, that and when she that was the funniest scene. I laughed by. Man, when I saw that, well, I think I was like 13. When I saw that, she just man, that was funny. uh right. I got you, Chief. I got you. Selene is your middle name. That's well, it's a nice name. Yeah, Porgy is good. Porgy is fun. The only series I never followed intensely was South Park. Yeah, same here. I mean, I liked it. The teenager in me was like, yeah, I watched South Park too. But now it's like, okay. But yeah, Porky's bad. And then what made it so good was it was in Florida. 1950s Florida. That was good, man. You know what I'm saying? Then Porky's too. And then you have I forget his name, but the guy that was a Jew, and he was like, it's not kite, it's kite. You so racist, you don't even know how to be. Man, that was, man, that I love those movies. Shoot, a movie breakdown I wanted Chief to do was Daughters of the Dust, Pimp. I love that dang movie. I just wanted to, but that's just me. I liked it. It was about the Carolinas and them Gullah Geechee. That was a good movie. Oscar worthy. But yeah, for sure. So, but anyway, which one? Rick and Morty. I never watched it. Daughters of the Dust. Well, you've never seen it. Daughters of the Dust is good though. I know. I mean, I could do it, but at the same time, I don't know much about that area. I don't know much about Carolina. You gotta know a lot about that. But I'll try. Look, if I gotta do all these things on movie breakdowns. So yeah, we'll come up with a list. Really? Yeah, I would love to hear that. I would. Man, that girl with the that girl was beautiful. Thick like an F-150, but she yes. Anyway. Oh no, he can rest. Yeah, see, mind walk. We don't have to write all. Can 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 some? Okay, we gonna write all this stuff down, and then we will tabulate a list, and then we will hash them out. Right now, yeah, Pazan, yeah. We will hash them out as timely as possible. But man, this has been fun. This has been real fun. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed y'all. You know what I'm talking about. And that's man. This was a great thing. So I want to give thanks to everybody. Peace and enjoy the rest of y'all day. I've never seen that movie, Chief. I didn't know such a movie existed. I'm sure she is. So yes, I will be the Anu, Cisco, and Ebert, but there's only one of me. Thank you. So I appreciate it. I will do everything. So peace, everybody, and I will see y'all. Tomorrow. Peace.